What are you expecting from this tournament, Jeff, in terms of the quality of the hockey?
I think the quality is going to be high. I mean, when you get that many elite level hockey players organized the way that they are, I mean, every game outside of maybe some of the games with the Czech Republic probably should be really competitive. Team Europe may have their challenges as well. I think there's a real curiosity factor about Team North America. I think it'll be weird for a lot of those kids to play against their home country's jersey, which is the one thing that I've been talking to a lot of them about. And they kind of say, yeah, you kind of forget it after a while, but it will be bizarre. You know, you look at someone like Connor McDavid, who grew up in the Hockey Canada program, has worn that jersey a number of times, will wear that jersey a number of times again before his career is done. And playing against it might be a little bit difficult. But when you look at the intrigue factor, because that's what I always look at with international hockey, like the one thing that's lost in a lot of ways, whether it's the Olympics, whether it's, you know, the World Cup, one of the things that's lost is, you know, the enigma of we don't know what this team is all about. Because international hockey now is essentially a collection of NHLers reorganized by birth certificate and passport, and then they play against each other. They're just NHLers wearing different sweaters and in different combinations. You know, this wasn't like, you know, go back to 1976, and we kept hearing about this young Peter Stastny playing with the Czechoslovakian team. Oh, what's he going to be like? That in the KLM line when the Soviets would march into town. That intrigue is gone. But I think that in this tournament, the one team that maybe doesn't have it to the level of, let's see what the Czechoslovakians are like in 76 and what the KLM line is like through the 70s and 80s for Russia, or the Soviet Union rather. I think the one team that holds that area of intrigue is probably Team North America. And you know that none of those veterans on any other team categorized by country wants to lose to the kids. Not a chance.
And, you know, we had Mark Spector on talking about this, and I said, one of the things that fascinates me about Team North America is the coaching aspect of it. I mean, a lot of the other guys, you know, the guys in Team Canada, they're going to have played as a group under Mike Babcock at some point, or most of them are going to have done that. Same, I would presume, with the USA. Same with Finland, you know, Sweden as well. But, you know, the Team North America is just this kind of, it's this bunch of guys put together. And I don't know what Todd McLellan's going to do. I mean, Speck's of the opinion that all he has to do is throw a puck on the ice and say, you know, go. But and I think what he's saying is, look, these guys are going to be young. They're going to have a lot to prove. You know, they're going to be full of piss and vinegar and all that. It's going to be great. But I wonder what Todd McLellan does in the way of coaching with these guys, because at some point there's going to have to be some sort of loose defensive system, isn't there?
And it's a short tournament. Right? I mean, these tournaments are really quick. And normally in a tournament like this, and we see this at the Olympics as well, it's not, and this is all due respect to the coaches and some fine ones in this tournament again, but how much of it does really come down to coaching, your estimation, versus the idea of a couple of star players saying, okay, boys, get on my back, we're going to win this thing. Like in a short tournament, really, what is more important? The system the coach puts in place or a couple of star players stepping up? I'm going with the star player. The one thing that I'm interested in when it comes to North America, and we could have seen this in the OHL, but we didn't because he was drafted by Detroit, is if Todd McLellan puts Connor McDavid and Dylan Larkin together. Two of the fastest players in the NHL. Dylan Larkin was property of the Erie Otters in the OHL. When he was drafted by Detroit, he went to the University of Michigan. That scuttled all those plans. I've talked to McDavid about it, and he said, yeah, you know, before the draft, Dylan and I talked about it, you know, the idea of playing in the OHL together and, you know, lighting up the league. I am fascinated to see, and I will be like a giddy, you know, little schoolboy again to see Connor McDavid play with Dylan Larkin, two players whose speed and skill can complement each other at that young age.
I mean, I would think that would be the biggest strength for this team. I don't know,
Totally.
You know, the defense and the goaltending. I mean, who knows what Matt Murray's going to do. But, man, you look at this lineup and you look at some of the, and I asked Speck this as well, some of the potential line combinations. That's the other thing that really intrigues me. There's going to be so much quickness on this team. They might be the fastest team in the tournament.
I think they are. When you look at the kids, they are hands down the fastest, no doubt. But, you know, at the end of the day, the puck moves faster than the feet. And that's where a team like Team Canada, Team Sweden certainly has an advantage in a short tournament like this. But you look at those forwards. I mean, there are speedsters. We mentioned Larkin and McDavid. Look at Nathan McKinnon, who can flat out burn as well. Like, there are quick players on this team, and creative players. And you always look for those players to have sort of breakthrough tournaments to sort of bust through. You wonder if this could be a great tournament for Sean Couturier, who for a long time has been a darling of the analytics community, but hasn't been able to break through in the mainstream sense and put himself in the conversation amongst the top players in the NHL just by the nature of the game that he plays. You wonder if a player like Couturier can pop and become that guy for Team North America. Their shortfall, obviously. I mean, you name it. What's Matt Murray going to be like? Gibson, Hellebuck, like what's the goaltending situation going to be like there? There's a lot of young defensemen going up against a lot of veteran forwards. With all due respect to Shane Gostisbehere and Seth Jones and Colton Parayko and Morgan Riley, this is still a really young defense to be going up against some elite level talent. But make no mistake about it, Team North America is going to be fun, and they're going to be fun because of the forward.